fuck? So for some reason, my vocals weren't recorded, which is kind of frustrating. But anyway, you're gonna pick new, and when you go into templates, you're gonna pick drum and bass. Okay, and when you do that, you're gonna keep the kick booster. The whole point of this is to get the kick booster. And you're gonna delete every other plugin that you see on the left side. So now that you do that, you're gonna need 4 different types of plugins: bass, chords, synth, and percussion. You're gonna get the bass in the Super Saw. Go on the basses, and I prefer bass PAL. Right? Okay. Anyway, the next one you're gonna get is the chords, which is in keyboard. It could be piano or it could be guitar, which is also in orchestra, I believe. No, it's in guitars. But yeah, I would choose closed grand. I prefer closed grand, especially for dark type beats. You know. Next, you're going to go into getting the synth, which is where the orchestra is, or you could just use synths. It depends. If you're not using EDM, I would just go into orchestra, and I would choose string solo because it's a cello and it's good for dark type music. Cellos are naturally in the lower octaves of music chord progression notes. Last but not least, in drum sequences, this is going to give you the 808 percussion, which is top left. 808s are specifically designed for rap and trap, hip hop, R&B, etc. Very essential. Next to the BPM. A BPM could be anywhere from 150, 130 to 150. I use higher amounts. A lot of people would argue. If you look at a lot of different types of hip hop, R&B, reggaeton, all that type of rap music uses a wide variety of BPM. But I would recommend anywhere from 130 to 150. You make a solid beat with that type of BPM. I would just recommend 150 to be honest with you. Other than that, you're pretty much good. You got all the plugins you need to make a rap beat. All you gotta do now is EQ them. Alright, so EQing. EQing. Alright, so you're gonna go into the 808 and you're gonna go into the master, add a plus, and under level you're gonna see distortion. Distortion gives melody above low frequency plugins, so it's perfect. You want to put it down anywhere between 10 and 15. Nothing higher, because then it's going to make your freaking speakers go boom, so you don't want that. And you can't hear it because for some reason it didn't record during the recording process, the vocals or the volume didn't record. So I can't demonstrate how it's supposed to sound, but you can see for yourself when you test it. Next, you're going to go to the strings, and you're going to go to reverb under echo. And you're going to leave it like that. It'll just give it a wet sound. Make it sound like, it's like in a studio booth or something. So more professional. And then also, you're going to go to Palm EQ. So you want to make sure band 1 is under low shelf. You want to make sure the decibel, the dB, is -12. You want to take band 4 and put it on high shelf and make the dB 2.4. What this does is it will give it more high frequency. It will cut out the low frequency for your strings because you want to save that for the bass and for the 808s. So you want to use as less or as least low frequency bass as much as possible. Low frequency is bass. Mid frequency is treble and high frequency is gain. You want to save the bass, the low frequency, for the bass line and the 808s. So you're going to focus on keeping the strings at a high frequency only. That way they can accompany the chords, the piano. Okay? Awesome. Now, you go to the chords and you're going to add reverb again to give it a wet sound. Also, you're going to give it tape delay to give it sound where it bounces off the walls. Something that gives it background noise as well. It also adds filler to the beat. Again, you want to focus on the frequency being gain and treble, not low frequency. You want to save the low frequencies for bass and the 808s. That way the frequencies don't clash and it doesn't sound like a bunch of trash in your instrumentals and beats. You want to make sure it sounds crystal clear. You're going to focus on keeping this at a low frequency and cut out the high frequency. You're going to do the opposite with the bass that you did with the synths. You're going to give it all low frequency and cut out the high frequency. Because you want to save the high frequency for the synth, and you want to save the high frequency and mid frequency for the chords. So now you're also going to add distortion, but the distortion here doesn't have any kick boost because it's not the 808s. So you can put it higher than 10 to 15. In fact, I recommend 50. You can save this now and use this whenever you are going to make a new beat. This would be your go file because you have all the presets saved. A tip would be always to save, always have presets saved.